Innovation does not happen in isolation. We need to work together as a community to solve the complex and wicked problems of today. So, what are wicked problems? In the area of policy and planning, wicked problems are those that are highly intractable, very complex, with contrary solutions, and almost impossible to solve. They are like the multi-headed hydra, and it's going to take us a Herculean task to figure out how to solve them. So when you think about the various wicked problems that there are, the United Nations, in their sustainability goals say, we have to have clean air, clean water, eradicate poverty, and we have to essentially get rid of hunger. To do all of this in different parts of the globe, you have to come up with different complicated solutions. And truly, it's challenging to solve these wicked problems. So wicked problems are not evil, they're just contrary. They're kind of like the weeds in our garden, really tough to get rid of. And one such emerging wicked problem, which is taken on prime time, is the problem of fentanyl. It is there in our schools, it's there in our colleges, it's there in our community, it's there in our healthcare system, it's there in our legal system, it's there around our borders, it's there everywhere. It's truly ubiquitous. So, what is fentanyl? Fentanyl is a synthetic opioid. Now, naturally occurring opioid, those that are extracted from the poppy plant, opium, are essentially they've been there for a long time. But fentanyl is cooked up in the laboratory, kind of like Breaking Bad, but not really so. And it's there. It is approved by the Food and Drug Administration to be used as an analgesic and as an anesthesia. So, but it's 100 times more potent than morphine. So it's very, very potent and active. Now, if it's used, but misused, abused, and overused, what happens is that the human body goes from feeling dizziness, nausea, vomiting, to eventually, reduced heart rate and death. And all of this almost happens in a blink of an eye, within 30 seconds. So what is the tool that we have? The first line of defense to essentially figure out if there's fentanyl, because it's not so much as you're consuming fentanyl, it is when it gets laced and adulterated, when it's tough to find them. So our first line of defense is a fentanyl strip test. It looks and works almost exactly like a pregnancy test. So if you want to figure out if something is adulterated with fentanyl, you take it up, you crush it, you add water, then you stick this dipstick in, and then you wait. You wait 5 minutes. It's got a sensitivity of about 20 nanograms per milliliter when it is in urine, and 10 times higher sensitivities, 200 nanograms per milliliter, when you're looking at drugs. And again, you get one test, one line, it's positive, 2 lines, it's negative. So, 5 minutes, and this thing acts within 30 seconds. So really, what do we need to do? We need to build a better mousetrap to catch this mouse, which is a very wily mouse. So I am a big fan of whodunits. I love mysteries, right? And I love puzzles. So to me, my greatest author, and I'm a biggest fan of, is Dame Agatha Christie. Now, Agatha Christie's longest running play was The Mousetrap, and it ran for really long, multiple years in West End. The premise of the story is there were 7 strangers, and they were all caught up and isolated in a remote country house. There was a lot of snow, and then somebody died. The news of this ended up spreading into London, and a police surgeon showed up, and he ended up somehow getting into this remote house. And they were all in this remote setting, close setting, and then, to their horror, they realized that the killer was among their midst. So this gave me an idea. If you have to bait and catch fentanyl, you have to use something that's used to essentially treat fentanyl for its overdose. What is that you would use as a bait? Naloxone is a chemical that's used essentially as an antidote to fentanyl. Today, the EMTs will administer naloxone to you immediately, even before they figure out whether you have an overdose or not of fentanyl. So now what happens? If you take this naloxone, then you can specifically catch fentanyl, and you can get the detection within that 30 seconds. How does naloxone work? It binds far faster to the opioid receptors in your body than fentanyl. But you need a lot of it to get rid of the effects of fentanyl. So with this idea of how to design a mousetrap, then the idea was we went about building this mousetrap. Now, I'm a big fan of Rube Goldberg's design of machines, right? The machine does all kinds of crazy things. Maybe some of you have played this game Mousetrap when you were young, and you see it's still around. Fisher still sells this thing. So what does this do, right? The premise of this game is that the players come together, collaborate, and build a mousetrap. Then the players compete against each other to trap each other's mouse-shaped pieces and get them caught inside the mousetrap. That's the game. So now we have to build this mousetrap. How did we go about building it? So this is where all the chemistry comes in. So I'm going to do Chemistry 101 today. So how do we do it? So we used this material called a metal oxide framework. It's an extremely porous material, like your bathroom loofah or the bath sponge. Lots and lots of pores, which is great because you can load a lot of stuff into it. One type of a material belonging to this metal oxide framework family is the zeolitic imidazole framework. And this is the material we used to build our mousetrap scaffold, the whole cage. That's what we built with it. Then we had to figure out a way to essentially hold the cheese in, which was naloxone. But how do you do that? It just doesn't stick. Otherwise, it'll stick everywhere. So this Ziff cage has zinc on it. Now, zinc and gold love each other. All the 14-karat white jewelry that we wear are all because they have zinc in them. So taking that zinc, which is there in that loofah, and putting gold nanoparticles with it, essentially now gives you locations to bait and trap naloxone. So once that was done, now your mousetrap is ready, and you can catch fentanyl. And we did that. You can do it in body fluids, like urine, saliva. You can get it within 30 seconds, which is what we need, and you can get it as a single measurement test. So just by itself, this mousetrap won't work. You have to make it scalable, deployable, so that it can help solve the larger problem that we are dealing with in terms of rapid testing. So to this end, with the company I co-founded and licensed, which is an Allen-based company, we figured out a way to make this scalable. What you see out there is that essentially that dipstick, but it's electronic in nature. Along those nice yellow gold-looking circles, we coat this with that mousetrap, and it's a single tip test. You stick it in, you attach it to that little reader, you'll know how much fentanyl there is, and you'll know it within 30 seconds. And this thing can be essentially 100 times faster and also 100 times more sensitive than what you can currently do. So now we have hope. We have hope that if we scale this thing up, you can deploy it, then we're giving one more tool in fighting that wicked problem of fentanyl. We can take it to our schools. We can take it to our colleges. We can take it into our healthcare system. We can take it into the legal system, and definitely we can take it to the borders. So here, my friends, is the hope and the opportunity that if we can come together as a community and work together, we can perhaps tame the multi-headed beast, which is fentanyl. I am Shalini Prasad, bioengineer, innovator, and entrepreneur, and I hope you enjoyed the fentanyl mousetrap story. Thank you.